Gonna be there a while. It's live now. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
She snuck it in. She snuck it in.
Hello.
She snuck in it. Wow.
So continue on with the show. Bye, guys.
Knew she was going to do
Bye,
that. Bye, Tony.
I'm so excited. Everyone is just, I know you guys are just going to be stumbling and we don't have any viewers, but we're like 1 minute before the hour. So we'll wait just a minute. But Tony is on travel visiting his family. I was going to tell you, Elvis, to pull out your challenge coin.
I think my challenge coin is actually in my bedroom right now. It's actually one of the coolest coins I had. I had actually had a house fire a couple years ago, so I lost a lot of my stuff, like uniforms and coins and all. But I did come across this one. It's from a unit called the Tomahawk. It's a group of Native Americans that actually had a small unit out here in West Texas when I was working on the oil fields in Midland.
I know about them. I lived in Lubbock.
Oh, yeah. I used to live out in Midland for a little while.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess my last duty station was here in Texas, and I kind of just got stuck here. I like it here.
He keeps trying to talk me into moving there.
I try to get everybody to move here.
It's not bad.
I ended up.
It's not bad. It's awesome. It's a great place.
I had a Joint Chiefs of Staff challenge coin that I was drinking with some veterans in a bar, and I ended up trading because it was the right thing to do with a Vietnam veteran for other things. But I'm trying to see who's paying for the drinks, Elvis.
Well, the highest coin I've ever received was a coin from Joe Biden.
Years ago. You may beat me.
Yeah, I used to do intelligence with the Army, so I got a chance to do a small briefing on him with Afghanistan and the opium trade, mainly all the poppy fields and things like that. 2012, I think, is what it was.
Wow.
About 4 months before one of my IED incidents happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we estimated conservatively they sold maybe $44 billion worth of opium. 90% of the world heroin comes out of Afghanistan alone. So just because based on those reports, he just gave me a challenge coin. But like I said, a few years ago,
Sitting vice president, though.
Yeah.
Which Trump's Joint Chiefs.
Yeah, no, Obama and Biden were still there.
Good job, boss.
I was the right monkey at the right time in the right uniform. That's all it was.
And we have 12 viewers now, and we're live. Everybody, how are you? You stumbled in. You can't help yourself. Sunday night, it's 9 p.m. Central, and you're at hashtag SPSM. Concurrently, you can be tracking the chat on Twitter. We're really excited as the SPSM production crew. First of all, we have a really cool group on that Chris Maxwell really sourced for us, and we're really excited to talk to you about. But we're also talking about new platforms. SPSM has really recognized that we're only in our last of our 5th season, so only 5 years. And in 5 years, we went from us being beta users of StoreFi to StoreFi retiring, from Twitter chats being rare and not everyone knowing how they work to being sort of common and Congress people mandate that government agencies do them. And all sorts of things have happened. And as we're watching platforms come and go, you guys remember Blab, we did that for a hot minute. We're talking about new formats and new ways of reaching people and new ways of doing metrics. And we're going to be working on probably a major shift at the conclusion of the season. And so we're talking with some pretty cool people who are just, once again, it's mental health, relate to the party, some people who are already there. Before we introduce them, I just want to remind you that I'm at Doc Foreman. You can find me on Twitter. I'm going to be helping with the stream because when we're live streaming, when we get over 5 streams, things tend to get a little bit squishy. Tony Wood is on there. He's tweeting away. Tony, tweet out hi to the people and give them a little blurb. If you need any help with IT stuff, he's still the guy to contact. Bart Andrews, say hello to the people.
Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have an amazing show for you tonight. Some folks that are going to be talking about, I think, some of the coolest things that are going on in suicide prevention. It combines all of my favorite things. It combines peer networks. It combines training with technology and video games and live streaming and everything that's absolutely amazing about social media and suicide and prevention. So I'm really excited to be here. Y'all know me from a groovy little crisis center in St. Louis, Missouri called Behavioral Health Response. A shout out to the BHR folks who are joining us. And I cannot wait to hear more about the amazing stuff that Stephanie and Elvis are working on.
Elvis is in the live stream. I just wanted to say that. Maxwell, say hello to the folks and then maybe set up the story, you know, like we do sometimes the intro of how this episode came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody, I'm Chris Maxwell. I'm the communications coordinator for the American Association of Suicidology. The real story here was that it seems like, and I hope that Stephanie and Elvis will tell us about this a little bit, it seems like you guys got a ton of press when you dropped the STOP program, and I'll let you guys talk about the STOP program, but I saw an article about this new program that you guys have coming out. It looks amazing, and my first inclination was just to reach out and say hi and see if there was a way that we can connect. So we're talking about doing some really cool stuff this year at the conference, at the AAS conference, which is April 18th through 21st for everybody who doesn't know. Definitely try to Washington, D.C. You can check it out on suicidology.org. But we reached out to him. We had set up a call. We talked through some really cool stuff. And just in the short amount of time that we spoke with Stephanie and Elvis, like honestly, you guys are just awesome. So I was like, this is a perfect setup for you know, getting you on SPSM, talking about some innovative ways of providing support. And I think, and I told you guys this too, I really think that what you guys are doing is on the leading edge of what crisis and peer support is going to look like in the next 5 years. So I'm super excited to talk more about both StackUp and the STOP program. So happy to have you here.
So Chris, could you go ahead and start with introducing Betty Page, AKA Stephanie Owens?
Yeah, Stephanie Owens, have at it. You're the program director, is that right?
I am, yes. I'm the program director and executive administrator for StackUp. We are a nonprofit based out of now Los Angeles, formerly Pittsburgh. We help the military, both active duty and veterans, with we have 4 programs now. Yay. We send crates of video game and nerdy goodness overseas to troops deployed in military hospitals. We take disabled and deserving veterans on trips to places like PAX and Comic-Con and E3.
Just really quickly for some of our audience who doesn't know, because remember, we're mental health folks. We're not always cool.
Sure.
What is PAX? What is Comic-Con? What is E3? Just really quickly.
PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo. It's a very big video game trade show that takes place actually all over the world now. They are in Boston and Texas and Seattle and Australia. They just announced recently they're going to be in Paris doing a thing there. So they have they're everywhere. E3 for those, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, I'm sure you must have heard of that. If anybody here watches The Walking Dead, you have to know what Comic-Con is. Oh, I see April going there. Yeah, big Walking Dead fan here. Hello.
I like cute boys.
Yeah, well, you know. There is something to be said for that. Absolutely. But yeah, those are the types of things that we, places that we take our veterans. We also have local groups that get together and do work with other veteran organizations in their communities. And then, of course, the reason why we're here is our StackUp Overwatch program, which is our mental health and suicide prevention initiative.
So before we go to that, because we will be talking about that,
Sure.
and we're gonna introduce Elvis sort of in a moment. But your handle is Betty Page, which I'm a big fan of. Which is just classic. Way to go.
Yeah, thank you.
You have actually like a considerable history of digital community development. Like for this being such a young thing, for you to have been in a decade means you've been there at the beginning. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
I started off, it was so funny. It was kind of accidental because I didn't intend to get as heavily involved as I did. But it was just so much fun that I couldn't stop myself. So I started off with, I started off as, anybody would, playing video games, right? And then I went online and looking around to see if there were any kind of forums or anything, because at that time forums were in, right? So, looked around for if there were any forums for this particular game that I happen to be a huge fan of, which is not around anymore. And I found one and got involved. And then next thing I knew, I wasn't just a member. Now I'm an administrator of said forum, and I ran it for a while. And then I decided, I'm pretty good at this. I kind of like this. I think I'm going to start one of my own. And then I started one of my own and then got involved with the publisher of that game and worked with them for a while. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Twitch came around. At that time, it wasn't actually Twitch. It was Justin TV. That was we're going back 8 years now, I guess, when that came about. And that's actually how I ran into my now boss, Stephen Machuga. He's our CEO. I met him on Twitch. I get paid for this. I do.
That's awesome.
I love my job. I really love my job. You have no idea how much I love my job. The things that we do. Elvis will tell you, man, oh my God. It's the people that I work with, the veterans that we help, all the guys all the air assaults that we've done, the supply crates that we've sent, and the things that we do locally are just.
Air assault is a program. Like, you're not actually assaulting people in the air.
No, it is a program.
We should just make that clear.
Yeah. Well, air assaults, because we fly them to, all these places. That's where we take them. So air assault. So it kind of makes sense, sort of.
Absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit about StackUp's mission in a minute, but I want to make sure and introduce Elvis next. Elvis, say hello to the people and tell them what is behind you, because I want one. Anyway, I need to get it on my Amazon wish list.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Elvis Walden. I previously served in the United States Marine Corps as well as U.S. Army. I am also recently a full paid staff member now with StackUp. I am the program director for the StackUp Overwatch program. I am also the assistant stack director. So pretty much everything that Stephanie does, I'm right behind her on doing the same thing. And what you see behind me here is my web around. So let me stack back up for some camera view here. But as you can see, it's a pretty big portable green screen. When you fold it up, it's maybe 12 inches in diameter. It's very portable. You can easily take it with you wherever you want to go. It'll fit into a backpack, no problem.
And this isn't just because you like the color green.
No, I actually use this when I do my live streams through Twitch. I use this and kind of blend in with the rest of the game and background, or I can put my own personal, whatever. If I want an American flag flying behind me because I'm feeling super patriotic, I can set that up.
Or like fake red satin curtains, it's whatever.
I can make it snow behind me if I wanted to. Sitting down here in the middle of Texas.
And when you were doing a live stream show where you might be having a lot of things moving, we've talked about this, and we've talked about sort of doing a green screen episode. Actually, this spring we're going to be doing one and talking about some of those, why that's important now to be able to do, like where that kind of insertion into your live screen is starting. There's starting to be entry-level user tools that make that be a really cool thing to have, right, Elvis?
Yeah, it started off as one of those things where people thought you had to go get a professional green screen set up and professional lighting and things like that, which would run you, a few $100s. So some of the top streamers would have it because it was either donated to them or they already had the income and funds coming in. This particular model runs around $50. As far as the lighting that I use, I actually use $6 or $7 LED lights that I got from Walmart. Actually, I removed the LEDs. I removed the caps off of them, and yeah, I have pure white lights coming through. So altogether, $60. I have a professional lighting system with a portable green screen.
And we're going to talk a little bit about how you guys are using this, because and all this sort of being a little bit of a nerd for the gadgets, like that's all very exciting, but you using all of this stuff very, very intentionally to engage folks.
Yes.
Elvis, how did you get connected with StackUp? I know a little bit more about Stephanie's bio, but tell me about yourself.
So I got out of the military at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. I was actually going through a really bad divorce, but I decided to go to college down here in Texas, down here in Austin. A mutual friend of mine, well, wasn't a friend at the time, he was doing work with Stephen Machuga, the founder, the CEO. He looked at me, he said, "I recognize those boots. You're a veteran." I was like, yeah, I am. We're taking a game design, web design program or a class at the time. So clearly, obviously, he knew I like games. He goes, "Hey, well, I got this cool program that I'm a part of, I volunteer with. Would you like to, kind of look into it?" So I looked into it, and since 2014, I've been here. I've been hooked, volunteering, traveling all over the U.S., doing different conventions, sleepless nights, streaming, helping people, all kinds of stuff. So
I would like to point out that you get to do suicide prevention and video gaming and traveling as a job.
Yes. Yeah, well, that is that now. Before that, I was just doing it out of my own dime, out of my own pocket.
All of us are I just can't describe like what a lovely sort of way this all sets up. This is why we're all excited to have you guys here. So Chris, would you like to, because you are like intrepid comms person, go ahead and facilitate them, maybe talking a little bit about StackUp's mission and talking through what STOP is.
Well, I think Stephanie would probably be the best person to talk about this. But from what I can gather, it's really just a really comprehensive programming or set of programs that support veterans using the technology and the things and the hobbies that they're already frequently using, like video games in this situation. One of the best analogies that I've heard talking about both StackUp and STOP is that it provides a really, really nice layer of protective factors based on that connectedness that that veterans specifically feel with their group. And specifically the analogy is that it's very similar to something like a it's not FOW. Is that what it is? VFW. I don't know if I'm frozen.
VFW.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody's camera was freezing up, and I was kind of freaking out. That it's very similar to a VFW in that people used to go to VFWs to hang out and talk about things and what's going on in their lives and just connect on a really human level. As we know, as a lot of us probably know, VFWs have pretty much just turned into bars. And so that's not usually the greatest place for people to hang out if that's what they're looking for. If they're looking for people, and it's generally older people who hang out at VFWs.
I don't know that, I will say that I know a lot of younger veterans who are in the VFW and some younger veteran VFW commanders, but there's a generational piece where you might join a veterans sports league and go to the VFW because people who are not veterans also join civilian sports leagues and the Rotary Club or whatever. But how we socialize and connect has really changed, and that means it's changing for veterans too, right?
Yeah, it's changing, and I mean, obviously the veterans of the most recent wars are going to, well, many of them are going to be in a younger generation. They're gonna be people who grew up playing video games. And connecting with people, like Stephanie was talking about, connecting with people on forums in the times that they had to do that. Now we have different technologies, so why not utilize those technologies to connect with people and help people provide support for each other and empower them to do that?
Elvis, you look like you have something to say.
I did a panel last year with the Texas Veterans Commission based on this exact same thing. Because they're having issues reaching post 9/11 veterans, and that's veterans that enlisted after 9/11, 2001 to the time they ended contract as of today. So in that gap alone in Texas, I think it was there a couple weeks ago, Texas alone, there's over 330,000 post 9/11 veterans in this state alone. That's the largest population of any other state. I think California comes second with like 220,000, I believe.
And in Texas, many of them are rural, right? Sean is the guy's name.
Say again?
In the Texas Veterans Commission, Sean.
My contact there, his name is Bryce. There might be a Sean. But yeah, Bryce DeVries is my main contact there at the Texas Veterans Commission. And they were trying, like, how do we reach post 9/11 veterans? Because the VFWs, the American Legions, the VAs, the VSOs, they're all losing population growth because, you know, the Vietnam veterans, all the ones hanging out the VFW these days, or the American Legions, or you have a lot of, you know, post 9/11 veterans who never actually deployed to a combat zone per se. Maybe South Korea, which is still considered technically a deployment, but some VFWs don't necessarily recognize that as a deployment in itself. So now they're omitting, you know, a very large majority of veterans, and who knows, they may have gone through their own traumatic issue without even having to see combat, you know, whether it may be a sexual trauma or things like that. And now these people aren't getting the proper help because they don't feel welcome. So when we have a program like what we have here with Discords and gaming and things like that, everybody from all walks of life, from all ages, just about loves gaming, especially the post 9/11 veterans, because we grew up in that era. I mean, I still have my Atari 2600 back in the day to the new Xbox One and everything I do on the PC. So it's easy, much easier for me now to get in contact with a buddy of mine who's stationed in Germany, my other guy who's stationed in Hawaii. I'm having a bad night. We can all sync up instantly in a matter of a couple text messages or Discord messages. And here we are on Discord talking to one another, gaming with each other.
What is Discord? Tell the people about that.
Discord is a communication app, web-based, or, you know, even for your phone as well. It is essentially like putting Skype, a personal chat room, Facebook Messenger, all of that rolled into one. So you can do video chat, you can do voice chats, you can do private messaging, you have your own chat rooms, you can even set up your own personal channel. So when I stream, I can stream from my own personal channel on there. So the general public can't join in the conversation. Or if I want to, I usually stream out of Red Shirt Raiders, which is another Discord for StackUp. So anybody can jump in the chat anytime saying, hey, you got room for one more? Yeah, come on, let's go.
Can you help us like tweet out where it is that anyone can watch you streaming?
Yes, yeah, I can definitely add you guys into that.
Yeah,
I'll definitely put it in your chat now.
Yeah, that would be super awesome.
I've tweeted out a couple of times. I'm glad to do it again. So, yep, I'm on it. Don't worry about
it. What do you think of all of this? Because you and I, we're old.
So I think a lot about this. What Stephanie and Elvis are talking about is something that's near and dear to my heart. One of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot, but we've talked a lot about it on this show, our institutions, particularly our social institutions, are failing, or at least they're evolving. Places where people used to congregate and connect with one another in neighborhoods, at VFW halls, bowling leagues, whatever you want to, these things don't exist in the same way. We don't have the same social infrastructure that we used to have. And so there's lots of folks that decry this and are saying how the world's falling apart because these institutions are dying. But new institutions are taking their place. And what Stephanie and Elvis are talking about is, rather than pissing and moaning about how the world is changing, let's find a way to connect with where people are at, and find these organic networks that are just forming all by themselves. Where are people? And let's target where they are. And this is my main complaint about mental health in general. One of the things that we do in this day and age, it's 2018, and we make people go into the hospital. They have to come into clinics to get services. No, they don't really have to do that anymore, folks. We could actually provide service to them right where they are and find them where they are. And I think this is the sort of thing when we talk about why people don't get services, there's so many barriers. And if you can reach out and develop peer networks and provide support where people are, you can, one, prevent a lot of things from happening. Two, you can provide really good support for when people do need to engage formal services. They've got support and reinforcement to do that. So what do I think about this? It is freaking amazing. There, I said it.
Well, it is, because I would like to point out that there's a bunch. So one of the things that I noticed about StackUp, and I would love for Stephanie and Elvis, and you guys just sort of talk and I'll operate the camera. But StackUp, it's not just connecting people on Discord or these digital things, but there's a lot of in real life connecting people, like digital enhancement or support of that. So like these people that you're talking about, Elvis, connecting with, these are people that you know, and then you're connecting digitally as well when you're all over the world, right? So maybe you could say, like, how does StackUp connect veterans with other peers? What are the different ways?
Well, we have our Stacks program, which is our local groups. So we have, it's essentially our boots on the ground. Like I run the Austin Stack. So everything between Fort Hood down to New Braunfels, Texas, in this radius, I have teams and groups of people that are civilians and veterans that we all either, once a month do a hangout, like meet up to one another. Or we do conjunction meetings with the group down in San Antonio. We'll go out, we'll have a drink, or we'll go game together, or we'll just do an outdoor adventure like horseback riding or whatever else we do down here in Texas. And that's just one of the ways.
That was, you understand, that was a big pregnant pause right after that, right?
Yeah.
It was so dirty. Keep going, Elvis.
The other things that we do is like I have contacts and friends that game out in like Seattle, Washington, and over in Boston, like Hyperion. So I'll game with them and talk with them and things like that. But when PAX E comes up, we'll hang out together in real life. We'll go down to the local pub. We'll volunteer and run the booth together. So it's no longer just this full-on digital social group that everybody thinks that, oh my God, you're never going to hang out with these people. Why do you even care so much? There are real connections happening here. And most important thing is the emotional connection that you have with people first.
Yeah, so I think the SPSM really gets that because we're meeting together in the chats weekly. I would say that Chris Bartoni and I are in contact on multiple platforms every day, almost all day long. And we only see each other in person a few times a year, but we collaborate and work together all the time. And so the idea is that people are having these really deep, meaningful, digitally facilitated relationships. And what I like about StackUp is we're sending people to in real life events. We're also giving them activities to do that they might do alone or with others. And then there is this cool thing, this super cool thing, and I was saying this in the break, that military communities do a better job of this than anyone else, called STOP, which is a peer-based, like, crisis support sort of standard operating procedure. I don't know what else, or initiative. How did you guys describe
We're calling it an initiative. We're calling it an initiative because it's more than just suicide prevention, but it's also mental health too. That the program it kind of came together over a period of time back in 2016, and started to notice that people were reaching out an awful lot and wanting to talk about really personal things, right? And so I asked a couple of the other staff members, and I said, "Hey, are people contacting you and talking to you about things, that are going on in their lives and stuff?" And they were like, "Well, yeah, as a matter of fact," I said, "Is it me or is it just getting really busy because it was around the holidays?" Right. So I talked to my boss about it, and he's like, "Yeah," he says, "it's a thing. It's a normal thing." And I said, "Okay, I'm just checking because I'm like, what the heck is going on?" Right. So I said, maybe we ought to look into putting together some kind of program where, we could maybe make it a little more formal and have people that actually, have some training and, provide maybe some extra things that if they need help with finances or VA benefits or whatever. Right. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Look, at that time, it was kind of a nonchalant kind of thing. Yeah, go ahead, do what you want, right? So
that's the last time they did that with you,
right? So I kind of did that, and I did some research and looked up, educational resources and, okay, what do I need to put in place for training? What are the kinds of things that we need to think about here? And, put all these pieces of this puzzle. I had all these pieces of this puzzle sitting in front of me last November. And I'm like, okay, now I have to put them all into action. Right. So, but I have like 10 other jobs too. So that's when Elvis comes into play. And I reached out to him and I was like, dude, I need you to help me do this. Let's get this. I want to launch January 1. I don't want to wait any longer. I don't want people, because, during this whole time, we have people reaching out to us, still.
So let's take a pause because there are several elements of your narrative that are different than other areas of mental health. So things like recognize the need, a lot of freedom to do things, decided in a non-expert, like it's not like you have a bunch of shrinks hanging at your office, that you needed training,
exactly,
a standard operating procedure, and they didn't want to spend 18 months rolling it out. You wanted to, in a few weeks, you wanted something rolling out in at the speed of the need, right?
Right.
And decide to just do it. So this is very specific to veteran communities, and we've talked with Tom Cruise, who he's a regular member of our community, but he's deployed right now, so he can't always join our chats. He listens to them later. But so Tom, if you're listening, how are you? But that was one of the things we first noticed, is getting people a standard operating procedure, getting volunteers trained, being coordinated, and doing it quickly. Right. Yeah, because we didn't want anything bad to happen to anybody. That's really what it boils down to, is what if somebody does come into our chat and is in a really serious crisis, and who's going to be here to act on that? We need to get something in place to have somebody who can act on that. And we didn't want to waste time. That was the whole thing, is we did not want to waste time doing all kinds of research and test case scenarios and all of that other stuff. We just wanted to do it, and that's what we did. We just did it. I considering that there were trainings available, and I hope you guys will talk about your partnership with PsychArmor, because it wasn't like you're like, we just did it and we didn't consult anything and we didn't think it through. You actually did, like, what I would think Bart would agree with a lot of the things that you did, and he's an expert in standards and practices, right? So what are the things that you did?
I reached out to, I did research to see who, would be good to partner with and for what our needs were at the time. It needed to be easy for people to access the training. It needed to be something that they could do online. Or over their phone even. And PsychArmor fit the bill in a multitude of ways, aside from the trainings that they offer, which are extensive. It's not just about veterans, but they have courses tailored to towards volunteering and working with veterans, hiring veterans, suicide prevention and PTSD, TBI. They run the full spectrum of all things veteran related, and their mission, very much like ours, is to bridge the gap between civilians and veterans. They do it through these educational modules that they have on their website. We do it with video games. So it just seemed to make sense to partner with them. So I reached out last summer, and our partner manager there got us a series of courses put together, which we then had vetted by our therapeutic advisor, who is a licensed clinical social worker with the VA out in California. He has since moved to Washington State, but he's our guy for all things therapy related. And he's also going to be our guy who's going to do the Twitch show, which we'll talk about later.
You didn't call me? No.
Keep
going.
Gotta keep you guessing.
Yeah. So he vetted all of the courses. He took them all. He vetted them all. Gave his seal of approval that they were good for us to use. And actually, he was like, wow, they're really more comprehensive than I thought they would be. And, because it is a free offering that PsychArmor has. Anybody can go to their website and take these courses. So, and they are extremely educational. So if you work with veterans, or you have friends that are veterans, and you want to learn more about military culture, or how to, talk to a veteran that, might be having a hard time with something, you really should hit that website up, because it's fantastic.
And I happen to know firsthand that they do a lot of work directly with top leadership in VA to make sure those training partnerships happen. And, and I think that's fabulous.
It is.
So how many weeks did it take you guys to consult with all these experts, figure out a plan of action, and launch?
It took almost a year to do all of that.
Fair. With how many staff?
2.
Wow.
I'm just going to use this in meetings going forward. Maxwell, he's laughing because he knows he's going to sit in those meetings where I'm going to be like, wait a this. I don't know. What the shit going on?
And I told them this when I talked to him the first time. I was like, guys, this is ridiculous. I mean, to see what you were able to do and accomplish in that short of amount of time, we have people, and with a tiny staff and limited funding, we have people who are in this field who work on these projects for 4 or 5 years before they release a one-pager. So to see what you guys have been able to do is spectacular.
Thank you.
I think I want to put out, there's a big downside to getting things done, because then folks that are spending lots of time not getting things done get very upset and sensitive. So I think I've got a criticism of this whole stack it up thing, that it's really, I think that it's very, very, very insensitive to those large multi-lettered big dollar agencies who are trying very hard. And did you think when you were doing your prep work, Stephanie and Elvis, did you even consider that the feelings of other agencies that are spending years and years doing nothing? No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Mission first.
Yes. Second. That's it.
Mission first, feeling second.
Talk more about this. This is really specific, I think, to veteran communities, that it was organized, but you're also dealing with a peer population that one of their cultural strengths is this. And so I've seen this repeatedly in peer support things that organize themselves on social media, like mission first. Explain why that matters.
Well, as far as the whole mission first mentality is, it's just getting the job done. You know, there's going to be variables. There's going to things that are going to be hard. There's going to come time in any deployment or any situation where your feelings are going to be put into check. You're going to have to put your emotions into check. The mission comes first overall. There are going to times you're going to be feeling sad. There are times you're going to be, you know, it's tough. It's hard. It's, you know, get over it. Ruck on. Mission first. And that's what it's always been like, because the mission is to take care of veterans. And, you know, we don't turn away civilians either. But as a veteran-based program, the mission is to take care of veterans. So I spent, within November to January, I can't tell you how many sleepless nights I spent getting this SOP written up, getting people signed up for volunteering, getting training in place, getting a scenario training in place too, to vet the people who already gone through the psych armor. Because it's not just one of those things where, yeah, you did the class, it's cool, you can help out. No, we put you through a scenario training as well to make sure that you can handle the stressors, because just like the military, you train how you fight and you fight how you train. You know, everything's a live fire exercise is the way we put it. Because there's going to come times where not everyone's just sad or depressed or going through financial troubles. There's going to be times where people are going to be on the edge, and you got to be able to handle that at that very moment.
So there's a piece about mission readiness. There's a piece about training. There's a piece about practice and about scenarios and simulations. And you managed to get this on the ground with very few resources, utilizing things from Veterans Affairs partnerships and relationships that you had with 2 staff members in a year. And I just please, like, I want that to sink in. And explain, because STOP stands for, and explain why you would pick something called Overwatch, which is pretty fun, and explain how that all works.
Oh, this is all Elvis.
All in all, she said about a year. All in all, this actually took about 9 months to put together. She spent 7 months doing her research on everything.
You're just making them feel worse.
Stop.
She spent 7 months doing her research on psych armor, and she took the classes first before we moved any forward. So when November came around, I was like, you know, I'll happily take this up for you and run it from there. So from there, I've set up the entire program based around psych armor and that particular training. And it's the whole STOP. It used to be called Suicide Prevention Squad. And some people took it as maybe just because someone's not suicidal at the time that they want to talk to us, it might have a negative connotation, and that's fine. Adapt and overcome. I was sitting at, I just got hired on to StackUp February 15th, so 3 days ago. Before this, everything I did was volunteer work. Yeah, make them feel worse. Sitting at my desk when this phone call came in and said, hey, we probably need to change, you know, the Suicide Prevention Squad, the SPS, to something else. And on top of my head, STOP. StackUp Overwatch program. Overwatch is a military term. where, you may have a sniper or someone else sitting or a scout ahead or kind of watching over your back, keep an eye on the battlefield. Because when I am going, kicking indoors, I have someone watching my back who can oversee everything else for me. 2, Overwatch is also a game. So
It
tying
sure
the two in,
is.
tying the two in
have it.
together. Yeah, gaming and the whole veteran term and throwing them both in together. And then just the storylines off the game itself is about camaraderie and looking out for one another, and people who are no longer in the same organization, but they have to come back and pull together to work with one another, to care for each other. So both ways it played out well. So the civilians that know of Overwatch, the game, can kind of throw a little bit of assimilation to it. And then people who are veterans, they understand the Overwatch term in the non-gaming sense.
And people who understand suicide prevention understand watching over. Like, you really did pick about crisis and suicide prevention, veteran culture, and gaming culture. And somehow when I saw that, I was like, I don't know how they found that, but it's just fucking brilliant. Pardon my French, but it really is. I was like, Overwatch is a game. And I was like, I know what this is. And by the way, most of the people in your community would immediately understand that sort of several lenses that you mean, right?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of the civilians that we have families that are veterans. Very rarely do we actually have civilians that come through that have no correlation with the military whatsoever. They do come through, and they're more likely to understand the gaming side of things before they understand the military side. So it's a good correlation of everything rolled into one. And then the sign of just having a stop sign there, stop the suicide, stop the mental health stigmas, stop the misunderstanding of mental health as an illness and as a weakness. What I tell people all the time, self-realization is the greatest strength you can possibly have. Realizing that you yourself need help and speaking out to it is not a weakness. It's a magnificent strength that you have over somebody else that doesn't realize that or is refusing to acknowledge that for themselves.
That was so well done, Elvis. Bart and Chris are trying to capture a bunch of the things that you just said, I think, right now. I will say, just as a little bit of a pause, that's why it takes a small team of us as we're trying to capture so many things in different platforms. So you guys, people volunteer, and they have to sign up to volunteer. They have to commit to taking trainings. They have to have some supervision of those. You guys, but you still manage to do that. And you've, I believe, 24/7 coverage, and you have a 24/7 live stream on Twitch. And we haven't talked a lot about Twitch yet. So how the fuck do you get crisis services with that kind of coverage and content, like entertaining content? Because you're doing both of those things while you're shipping care packages and flying people around. All of these things are going on, right?
Yes. We have an amazing live stream manager who takes care of all of our Twitch things. He runs the show. He takes care of everything with the channel. He does all the scheduling. He vets all the streamers. He sets up, he does our fundraisers. We have, our semi-annual fundraisers that we do in May and November. He handles all of that, gets the streamers together for that. We just ended a huge 168-hour long live stream fundraiser, joint fundraiser with Special Effect, which is a charity based out of the UK, this past week on Twitch.
Tonight. How many hours?
168 hours.
Wow.
Just keep going.
And yes, his name is Chris Case. He is just fantastic. He's knowledgeable with all things Twitch. He's a Twitch partner. He has his own channel. Check him out. He is the Game Case on Twitch and Twitter. He is just amazing. He's I can't say enough about him. He is working with our therapeutic advisor, and they are putting together some programming for mental health that we hope to launch summer, maybe. Depends.
Give us the sneak peek. Tell us what's coming.
I can't.
Okay,
I can't because I don't even know. It's a surprise for me too.
So tell our audience what they can follow or where they can look, so that, because summer we're going to be on hiatus, so we go on hiatus every year, and honestly we're going to be doing a fairly big reboot, just because so much of what we're doing was so current 5 years ago, and we need to do a reboot.
Gotcha.
So they could watch you guys. So how can they?
They can watch us on twitch.tv/stackup.org. We're also on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram as StackUp.org. And that's spelled out DOT, StackUp, DOT-ORG.
So follow StackUp.org on Twitter. We've tweeted them out a lot. Go follow them on Facebook. They're easy to find. Consider, we're gonna get you guys, one of our goals is to get everybody Twitch ready, because it's coming.
And if you need help, I have a guy that, you know, I could have. Well, it might be if I.
Just
go ahead, Elvis.
I was going to let you know, thestackup.org is now in your chat.
Oh, say hi.
Oh my God! Sorry. Of course, SPSM is no stranger to volunteers. This is an all volunteer thing. It's a community that just people create content in these different platforms. And we just sort of have taught people how to be like, and to recognize what people are good at and move into Twitch and things like that. So the idea that you can, with a few volunteers who are skillful, get 24/7 programming. I honestly, and I hate to say this because Chris and Bart might murder me. And I have to see Bart in person in Denver in a few days. Go to Elevate the Combo. Follow us on Elevate the Combo. # Elevate the Combo all week. It'll be fun. I think that's a possible thing. How many volunteers do you think it takes to have 24/7 content live streaming?
It depends on the content that you want to provide. I mean, we have our scheduling. Everybody is broken up into blocks of time. So generally, a streaming block would be maybe 2 to 4 hours, depending on what the subject matter is. We have a weekly show that we do after our weekly meetings every week on Twitch. We have our weekly meeting on Discord, right? Where the whole entire organization gets together, volunteers, supporters, the staff. We all get together. We all talk about all the things that we've done, all the things that we have plans to do. We open up the floor for questions. Then we'll go and raid somebody on Twitch, and one of our supporters, it's usually who it is. We'll go to their channel, and like a whole bunch of us will just descend upon the channel and raid their chat, and it's really fun, and they love it. And then afterwards, we have a show called The Red Shirt Report, which our live stream manager and our videographer,
like Star Trek?
Cameraman. It's called the Red Shirt Report.
Like Star Trek, right?
Well, yeah, sort of. Well, see, red shirts. The connotation of red shirts comes from Star Trek, but it's also a military reference. Red, the color red, or the term red, R-E-D, is remember everyone deployed. And if you've heard of Red Friday, you wear red on Friday to remember everyone deployed. So our shirts, the reason why they are red is so that we can remember everyone deployed.
I like that you guys find a lot of these overlaps between gaming and veteran culture, and that you really take care of that, that you make fun activities that are fun for people to engage in, that you provide entertainment content, and then that's what people are showing up for, and that you just build in the peer support as that, where you have a group of people, peer support will just inevitably be needed. It doesn't matter if it's just veterans,
absolutely, people
just need support occasionally. And so you're sort of recognizing that's just a normal community need, right?
Right. And the STOP program is not just for veterans. It's also for the civilians that are in our community too. So
correct.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. We don't turn anybody away. Mental health is for everybody, not just veterans.
Well, I like that. And by the way, did we hear that Data Shadow Study finished their paper on Our Data Helps? By the way, Amber, yes, we did. We've just got a lot of people tweeting on that. And just a quick break from that. Our Data Helps, Stephanie Elvis, is a project that was really, in many ways, an SPSM collaboration to create a method for donating social media data for people who are neurotypical or people who've attempted suicide, or the data of people who died by suicide, so we could get it in the hands of data scientists to do research, because data donation solves a bunch of problems for getting data to researchers, because it turns out that's not easy to do. Mm-hmm. And one of our guests became interested in us because she's heard about us, because that's we were just very successful and we didn't realize it. And so yes, she did a research paper and it's coming out. So hooray. Nice. That's totally happening. Thank you, Amber, for bringing that up. So you guys are getting 24/7 crisis coverage for anybody who needs it, who's in your community.
Right.
While also providing entertainment, while also providing social activities to do.
Correct. Yes.
How many staff do you have?
How total?
Because this is astonishing.
We have. If you think it's astonishing now, wait till I finish this sentence.
Hold it.
We have 8 people on staff.
That's it.
Jeez,
just 8.
We have more than 8 people.
No, she said 8. She said 8.
And we just hired. We now have 8. We had 6 a week ago. We just hired 2 people.
We're such slackers. So we're only a few minutes away from final thoughts, and I want to give you guys a chance to voice. And I know that honestly we just had a lot of ground to cover. You guys just do a tremendous amount with very efficient use of resources and mission and good, just great leadership. What would you like our audience to know? What links should they go to if they're interested in either learning more about what you're doing, volunteering, that kind of thing?
They can visit our website, StackUp.org. Check out the programs area for we will soon have a page up for STOP. It's being built as we speak. We will soon have information on that. But if you search our website for STOP, the article will come up with the link to the press release that we put out a few weeks ago. Otherwise, they can come hit us up in our Discord server at discord.gg/stackup.org and hit up either myself or Elvis, we're in there, or any one of a number of other STOP volunteers that are involved with the program, and they will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Fantastic. Elvis, anything else you want us to find?
Reach me on Twitter, and I'll be posting out the actual Discord links themselves. I am at the Gaming at Gaming Daddy-O. I will be sending out Discord links as well. So sign up for Discord, hop in, just kind of see what we are about.
And let's share your Twitter handle one more time. It's pretty snazzy.
Yeah, Gaming Daddy-O. Well, I have 3 daughters, and I'm a gamer. So, Gaming Dad.
Gaming Daddy-O?
Gaming Daddy-O.
Oh yeah, Elvis back in ATX. ATX is what the hell
Austin,
is it?
Texas.
Oh, got it. How would I should know that. I don't know.
Elvis, I live a short drive away from Austin.
Well, nice.
Hey. South by Southwest is coming. So where you can find us, because this is next, right? Where will you see us? Where can you find us? We will be in places very soon, local to you. We were coming to Austin for South by Southwest.
Yep.
So
we'll be
cool.
there for that.
March 15th through 17th.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to be doing there?
We will have we have a booth there. We'll be exhibiting there. We will be bringing air assaults there.
Once again, that's a lovely thing, not the bad thing that they often are.
Exactly.
Elvis is like, stop it.
We will also be at PAX East in Boston in April, beginning of April. And then we will be at the American Association of Suicidologies.
Oh my God.
As well. We
What are you
will.
guys gonna do with us?
We are going to
Chris?
present with you. Chris, you fill him in. You know what
we're working on actually having you guys set up in a room that you can show a demo of everything that you've been working on. So it's going to be a perfect opportunity for people. If throughout this description of what you guys have been doing, people are still confused, come to the conference and check them out, and we see everything live and how it works.
Yes.
What video game are we gonna play?
What do you want to play?
I am level 64 on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp right now. I wish I was joking. Explain to the people how lame that is, Elvis.
I mean, everybody has their likes and dislikes. I've never played Animal Crossing a day in my life.
I haven't either.
It's a children's game. Be very clear. My 12-year-old said get it, and then suddenly I couldn't stop.
I mean, Pokemon is still played by adults, and I've been playing that since what, 1998, 99?
Yes. Dr. Bill Schmitz, who's our past president of AAS, is like a Pokemon Go wizard. Like he's like level 120. I don't even know what it is. So if you play Pokemon Go at all, you got to hook up with Dr. Bill Schmitz because he likes to be taken out for walks to do the pokey. Really, having done this with him many times.
I will be bringing my laptop out there with me, and I'll be letting people get a hands-on feel for Discord and just kind of give them a full-on site to see how our whole operation works. Because I can tell you about Discord all day long. Same thing with the Texas Veterans Commission when I had a meeting with them a few weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah.
I could told them on the phone, yeah, Discord is a cool communication tool. It's very powerful. But when it came down to it, I was like, you know what? Let's just do an in-person meeting. Let me bring my laptop and, let me just get you a hands-on feel. They were absolutely just blown, excuse my language, blown the hell away by just what they were
swearers.
seeing.
We're bad swearers, Elvis.
Yeah, in case you haven't heard the F-bombs earlier.
My nickname is Dr. F-bomb, and the Marines at my clinic tell me not to swear so much.
Oh, my.
For me, personally, it doesn't bother me. So
What?
if you ever do come to my stream, it is a mature channel stream because I can use the F-bomb in pronouns, adverbs, adjectives, you name it. I can make a whole conversation out of just the F-bomb itself. So
I've got the vapors for the third time.
Multiple vapors? Or are we talking multiple vapors?
Right. So we're getting to final thoughts, but you'll be able to meet these folks in April. I highly recommend that you do that. We're going to probably this is one of the platforms that we're looking at for as we make a jump in how we connect with people and which platforms we do content in. So this would be a really great time to pick up that skill, SPSMers. I'm just saying. Final thoughts for the evening. Dr. Bart Andrews, the thread was popping. Can you help us sum up?
So, I mean, the thread was amazing. People are really excited. One of the things, and this is something we really need to think about is, okay, here's how we're reaching gamers. How do we reach middle-aged men with a similar model that aren't connected to the gaming community? So how do we rope in all these other folks that are impacted by suicide and not feeling connected in the world? And how do we take this model? Yeah, so how do we take this model outside of it? Because what they're describing here is incredibly cool. It's incredibly innovative, and it really demonstrates what a small group of folks can do who are passionate, who are dedicated and thoughtful, can move rapidly to create this sort of a disruptive innovation in suicide prevention and improving well-being, and especially for our veterans. So I am so appreciative of you guys being here tonight. Thank you, and we are so proud and humbled by the things that you are doing. It's really quite incredible.
Thank you so much for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Wait, you're not done yet. That's a final thought. We're going to get you next. Stephanie, final thoughts.
Oh, my goodness. So many. I'm just really, thank you so much for really having us here. We are growing by leaps and bounds, our little charity. I love our little charity. All we want to do is just help people. We want to make sure that people are okay. We don't, suicide is an awful thing, and it shouldn't happen. And if, our little gaming Discord channel can help somebody, even one person, not take their life, then it's all worth it.
good final thought. Chris Maxwell.
I'm not even going to try to follow that up. So thank you, Stephanie and Elvis. You are wonderful people. You're amazing at what you do. It's impressive to see what you've been able to accomplish. And I really think that the people and the professionals in the mental health field and the suicide prevention field need to pay attention to what you're doing and how you're getting it done. Because this is super important. Like Bart has pointed out, like people have pointed out on the thread all night. You know, everybody needs this level of support. If we can make sure that these big organizations are looking at these new technologies, looking at ways to connect with people just in general, in ways that haven't been done before, that's where I think we can make an effective difference. And you guys are doing it, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
Elvis.
Well, I can go on all night. I have plenty of thoughts. You know, being in the military and serving infantry in the intelligence field of things, you have this mentality that you're this ultimate warrior, that you can't show weakness, and, you know, suicide is a coward's way out. And not just through this program, but through other things before, it's not a coward's way out. It's an illness. And any illness just about can be cured. It can be fixed, and it can be helped, which is why we are here. That's why we are mission first. We are mission ready. We train how we fight. So come to us. We are here to help you all in any shape, way, or form. Digitally, we'll meet you in person if need be. We can hang out and chat over a raid on Warcraft or through PUBG or Overwatch. Whatever it may be, whatever your medium is, reach out. We're here.
I like that. PUBG or Overwatch. I like that. This is at Doc Foreman. My final thought. The idea that you should provide community first and support that fits the community makes a lot of sense. And that providing people a way to connect in and of itself is healing. And then making sure that we're providing the extra layer of support when things are particularly in need. And I think that's great. Do what's engaging and think about that first. That's my final thought. That's it. It's this hour straight o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. You spend another Sunday night at hashtag SPSM. We are so excited that we've had StackUp.org here. Please do go check out their channel, hang out, because it's probably good for y'all to learn how it works. Also, Bart and I are going to be in Denver at Elevate the Combo. We're going to be talking about social media engagement and using that in the service of suicide prevention. So all this week, follow hashtag Elevate the Combo. Give us some grief. I think what is it? What is our final thing? What do we call that? It was like Logan Paul, blue whales, and basically Bart and I are going to argue for your entertainment and education.
I love the we. I love the we. Yeah, I love your pronoun choices, April. Yeah, we came up with this really cool thing. It was April, but it'll be awesome. I'm looking at what we have is very special. Be there. We.
Everybody have a great night. Bye.